Hey guys, today we're going to work on pressing up into forearm balance. This can be a little tricky, and if you're just beginning to work on forearm balance, you can check out one of my previous videos talking about just finding balance in general and also the split leg press up, which is a little bit easier. If you're ready for more, we're going to work on wide leg and pike and a little bit of tuck press too. The first question to ask ourselves when it comes to this wide-legged press up, well, two questions. Can you do it in headstand? If you can do it in headstand, you might be able to do it in forearm balance. If you can do it in headstand, the next question is going to be, can you comfortably get your forearms on the ground with your legs wide? If this is not so easy for you, you're going to have to spend some time here building the flexibility to be able to do so, because there's no way you're going to press up if you cannot reach your forearms to the ground. When I learned how to forearm press up, I was learning from a really strong guy, and different things worked for him than worked for me. And I had to figure out how to make it work for myself. What he was telling me to do, which is a great way to learn if you're a strong guy, was just to place the forearms down, walk the feet up, and then see if you can press. Well, by now I'm tired, and I can press because I've been practicing for a while. But at first, it was impossible. The longer I had the weight in my shoulders, I was getting tired and it wasn't going to work for me. The way that did work for me was by coming up onto my tiptoes. Really finding nice strong legs, because your legs are going to have to lift themselves. Your arms don't really lift your legs. I mean, they do, but that's besides the point. From here, I asked myself, where do I need my forearms to be able to get them grounded? Once I figured that out, I stayed really strong, high on my tiptoes, and only when I brought my forearms down did I lift my legs. Immediately though, I was not spending all this time down. So I exhale all the air out, elbows are still up. As I begin to inhale, I lean and immediately I lift my legs. There's no pause, otherwise it gets a lot harder. But it's not like a jump. I don't like throw myself and jump. It's not like that. It's just a transferring of the momentum up into your press up. If that's not quite working, you can always just ask yourself, can I lift my toes? Same setup, up on the tiptoes, bring the forearms down, lift the toes, and come back down. This is where you're going to work to build the strength and get the feeling of what it's like to press up. I showed this in my last video, but if this isn't quite working for you, you can always take the hands down, head comes down like headstand, and press up there and see what that feels like. And one other way to work towards it, hands can come into prayer. You gently press your head into your hands, and then you lift up and off the hands once you get up. Those are all really great ways to work towards pressing up into forearm balance. If that was easy for you, congratulations. It's not very easy. We're going to work on the tuck press and maybe the pike press, depending on how my body is feeling today. The thing about these yoga poses is they're not party tricks. It's not like, oh yeah, I can do a pike press and my forearm balance. It's like the days when my body and my mind are cooperating, I can do a pike press into my forearm balance. I'll start with that one since it's a little bit harder and hope for the best. Same setup though. I start by stretching my legs and finding my leg strength, because if my legs are not strong, it's going to be a lot harder for them to lift up. See if you can get your forearms down. If that's hard for you, the press up is going to be very, very challenging. I have short legs, so forearm presses are a little bit easier. Handstand press is still very challenging for me. One day I'll get there, I'm sure. But beginning to stretch. The stretch is where you're going to find your strength. The more length you can find in your hamstrings, the easier the press up will become. And then once you're ready to try to press, come up onto the tiptoes again, because we want to get the hips up as high as we possibly can. Thinking about that transferring of weight. Again, my forearms are not down yet, only when I'm ready. So the same way we did it in the last one. Only when I'm ready, I lean, and I lift. Ta-da! It doesn't happen every day. It's becoming more consistent as I practice it more often. But this is first thing in the morning for me, and so I was hoping it would work out. If that one isn't working for you, I'm going to show two other ones, maybe three, depending on how I feel. If that one wasn't working, we're going to tuck the knees in to lift them off, trying to tuck one at a time at first. Forearms, this one you can start with your forearms down, walking your hips up. This is more so if you're strong rather than flexible. The pike press is actually easier for flexible people because it's easier for us to get our hips up over our shoulders. If you have more strength, this one that I'm about to show you is going to be easier. Forearms come down, hips come up. One knee comes in, the other knee comes in. And that way you just use a little bit of strength. You still have to stack your hips, so the flexibility is still necessary, but it just allows you to use that strength in your hamstrings to press up. You can also, I like to start with my little stretch set for this one, lean and try to lift both at the same time. Remember, be easy on yourself. If it doesn't happen today, it's okay. You have a whole lifetime to practice. No worries. One other press-up technique I'm going to show you is the puppy press-up. This one worked for me because, again, I have that long torso, so it helped me to lean and get my hips up over my shoulders. It may or may not work for you. You can always try and headstand first, and then if you're feeling confident, try and forearm balance. Forearms come down, my legs start wide. Get my hips up as high as I can. Lift one leg, you can bend it or keep it straight. Lean and lift. And then once you get really strong, you can begin to work these little taps to work your side body. And you can do these in headstand as well, if they aren't happening in forearm stand quite yet. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any other requests like hollow back or scorpion or anything else you want to work on, leave me a message in the comment and I'll try to get you a tutorial for that. Thank you. Namaste.